welcome. Thank you all for being here at the Partners for Possibility Learning Circle 20 celebration event, which means that there have been 20 groups of principals and business leaders who have traveled a year-long journey of leadership development together. This is the 20th group, and boy, has it been quite a wonderful and challenging road that we've been on. We have, last but not least, Vuyo and Pindi. This is a partnership that the two of them made. We often talk about these partnerships as relationships. And if this was a relationship, the two of them rode off into the sunset together. And I was somewhere in the background going, hello, hello, remember me? But the two of them just rode off into the sunset, and I had to just trust that they were doing a great job. And wow, what a wonderful job the two of them did. And I think what you're going to see here is just how wonderful the actual partnership and relationship was between the two of them. So, Pindi and Vuyo.
Good evening. We and I do things differently. He's my partner in crime, so we would like to be afforded the opportunity to both stand here. And we prefer that we take turns in what we say.
Can I just ask you to make sure you're speaking into the mic? Thanks.
Am I tall enough? Okay, good. You want to go, Vuyo?
Yeah, good evening. I'm Vuyo Mkonazi, the principal of Emadwaleni Secondary School. Pindi is my partner. Please be aware, business partner, not my...
Yeah, remember that part. Remember that part. And he's Zulus, and they're known to take more than one wife, but I'm not that.
I'm from a school in Soweto. It's in Orlando West. It's Emadwaleni Secondary School. I'll first start by saying why I joined the PFP. I was attending a workshop in Telfontein. It was a curriculum workshop, and one of the presenters actually mentioned Partners for Possibilities, and that something clicked to my mind. There's money coming from my impoverished school. The school is poor. Could do with a partner will come with a check thrown around into the school. Guess what?
And he got me.
I got Pindi by default, because Pindi is actually a former learner of a school around my area. She wanted to choose that other school anchor, but the principal of that school was still sleeping, was not aware of Partners for Possibilities. And then Pindi just said, I'll take another school around my community, which was my school. But in hindsight, I believe, I also myself was aware that I needed to be developed as a leader and as a principal in the school, because I was promoted because I believe I was and still is a good science teacher. So I was just promoted because of that, but I did not have these leadership qualities which I needed as a leader. So hence I joined the partnership. Pindi will speak to the partnership.
I run a small consulting company, and one of my clients is King Edward School. A while back, sometime last year, one of the headmasters of both schools asked if I could meet with a certain Dr. Robin Whittaker because she needed some HR information, and they thought I could help. When she came to my office, we ended up talking about giving back the work that she does. And I went with the resounding, yes, this is brilliant, I want to do this. Months later, when Dina was frustrated with me, I thought, I don't think I should have done that now. Because I wasn't ready, generally, in terms of my own workload as well as my personal life. But looking back, I'm glad that I continued, and I'm glad that Dina supported me to not give up. I joined Partners for Possibility solely because when I joined King Edward, when I look at schools around previously disadvantaged areas who are termed public, well, there are obviously different levels of public schools, and we have the King Edwards, the GPs, the park towns, etc., who are at a completely different level. I realized that a vehicle like PFP would assist in getting those schools to a certain level. They have good leadership. Bottom line, they are governed by the same frustrations that, from my experience, that the GDE gives all the other teachers. They are within communities or other schools. Yes, I'm being honest, because I work with the GDE from an HR resourcing point of view. But they have good leadership. They have leaders and teachers who understand how to bring communities together, and this is what our schools need. All the schools, if we are all, as Salim had said before me, come together and realize what we can do as business leaders, as partners, as communities, those schools will become better. That was the reason I joined.
The challenges that the school faced were, amongst others, poor academic performance in grade 8 and 9. Now, a lot of us will be worried about grade 12. We flag there. But we forget the current class of grade 8 in 2021, if my math is correct, I believe it is, will be in grade 12. So if we're not putting correct systems there, trust me, you can jump as high as you want. There's not just going to happen at grade 12 level. So that was a challenge that one noticed in the school. Secondly, was the lack of fundraising activities in the school. Other colleagues have mentioned that we are no fee paying schools and all that. We unlike Kes, Malon, Elmon, because we were not there. And when I mentioned that I had a marvelous time shadowing David Lovett at Kes. That's one experience. That's another thing that I'm taking away from this program. It gave me hope. It gave me belief. It gave me that sense to say, if he can do it with the challenges that he had, because he also has challenges. Similar challenges, trust me. He also has issues of late coming. He also has issues of substance abuse. Yeah. So the problems are there. It's just that we operate at different locations, just geography. The other one was the ineffective RCL, poor classroom management skills, in particular the newly qualified educators. In education they call them the Funza Lushaga crew. And lastly, lack of participation by parents. How the partnership tried to alleviate the problems. Pindi organized a leadership workshop, skills for the RCL1. And we also, through one of the workshops that we attended, contracted the grade 8 parents as a start, as a piloting program, because we could not go and try to do across all the grades to see whether this is working. And the grade 8 parents and their learners were contacted. And something that comes, which was something unorthodox in the township, was the aerobics marathon fundraising, which we organized, and we are a school located next to a hostel. If you know the community between the township and the hostel, how they behave, the township tend to isolate the people from the hostels, and 90% of the learners are actually coming from the hostel. Then I said, we are going to do the aerobics marathon in that hostel. Trust me, I wouldn't have thought of that if I did not have the exposure I had through this process. And guess what? The fundraising was a success. It was not a lot of money, but we managed to raise, with our standards, 15,000 rand was quite a lot on a Saturday morning. And that was through the ticket was sold at 10 rand. I'm not sure whether the picture is there. Okay. Pindi was there. Though she did not exercise, but she was.
Remember, we're going very fine. Remember 2021. So be careful.
And also the RCL workshop, where you can see Pindi and her daughter. They came to do the RCL workshop on a Saturday morning. And again, learners came on board, which was quite encouraging. Not a lot of learners will sacrifice their Saturday and come for the workshop.
And despite the fact that I did not exercise, I think it was again an eye-opener for me, particularly having grown around that area and went to school, as we had indicated, to a school opposite, actually, the same, so to speak, hostel in those times, your 80s and stuff. And I also had the same mentality of fearing being in that area. But looking at how we can contract, speak to people, get communities to support schools where their kids go to, it gave hope not only to me as a person who's part of the program, but to a number of parents that were there that I was speaking to when unfortunately the pictures are not. It then said to us, we can continue to engage the community because it's doable. I also want to speak, the next slide, the issue of relationship building. I don't want to speak a lot on what Vuyo wants to share about learning at CARES, but having the SGBC, the work that Vuyo was doing, I think has had a great impact on his relationship with his SGB and then teachers as well. The parents came out in numbers for the grade 12 contracting, and Vuyo's having, I'm sure, a number of positive spin-offs that he's getting from there. You want to add, Vuyo?
Yeah, parents are actually coming on board, and I believe it is through me being a better listener. I'm not sure whether is it a hereditary sickness that principals have. They just don't listen. But through time to think workshop, I'm able to listen more and allow colleagues to be my thinking partners. And parents are now turning up in numbers in our meetings, thanks to the workshop that one went through.
In closing, what I've learned and what I take away from it is the work is never done. It continues. We and I have agreed to continue beyond this because our plan, I don't think we've even touched the basis of what we'd like to do. But it has improved me as a leader in a sense that I was impatient, generally. I want things done a certain time, a certain way. Hence Dina's comment that we went off and did our own stuff because the COP meetings and doing things in a certain way, I don't follow procedure quite well. But what I learned was to listen more attentively. And I think for me is knowing how to engage other people. My kids, my daughters, I have teenage daughters, so you can imagine how I always want to tell them what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. They're actually surprised that I let them decide, choose what is it that you want to do, this versus this, these are the terms, and I would let them do what they want. It has made me a better consultant in my business. I now know what is the purpose when I go in, apart from the paycheck at the end, to consult in a business. What is it that you want to make sure that you drive home when you leave this client? And I'm quite grateful for having met Robin and for Dina and the entire corp, because we've had some amazing moments with the guys here. And yeah, all of you, thank you so much. I've learned a lot from you.
What I'm taking away from the program, I first need to say I had an amazing journey. From May last year up until now, it was quite amazing. But what I'm taking away is I'm now a good listener. My confidence as an instructional leader in the school has definitely improved. And what I'm taking away from my partner is her humility. She is a pushover, but what I realized was she's results driven. Something that we tend to lack in education. We little bit relaxed. But she has taught me that sense of not to procrastinate and actually do things on time. And through COPS, I met some amazing people. And Malon, Elmon, Salim, Kosi, Gwena, it was just an amazing journey for me. And the deep relationship that I have with my partner, business partner, that I will take forever. And something that I will take away is, somebody once said, I can't remember who, but one of the PFP leaders was, corporates believe that they can solve the problems of education by throwing in a check. I'm now at the stage where I believe that's not the case. You can give me 2 million rand now. Trust me, I will buy a better chair in my office and maybe a better staff room, but that will not solve teenage pregnancy, that will not solve substance abuse, that will not solve all these other problems that you are having. I thank you.
I'd like you to share that part, because this was more your moment, me coming into it. And I think it's one of the things that have made me proud to have you as my principal, so to speak. I don't want to use the word partner,
Okay.
Yeah. So if I'd like to have you as my principal, if you'd share that, I think it would be ideal for the colleagues to hear it from you, because I think it was an amazing opportunity for you to be there, or for us to be there when we went to the Future of Learning conference. In brief, we still have 2 minutes time.
Okay.
Good. It's our proud shine moment.
I'm not sure why I was chosen to go and represent PFP. I think it was by default or somewhere.
It was very deliberate.
Deliberate. Okay, it's fine. But then again, it gave me an opportunity to be there, not to celebrate myself, but to be there. It was not a PR exercise for PFP, but it was just me saying what I've gained from the process, what PFP aims to achieve, because it is through education that the learners that we're dealing with, these young minds every day, can actually change. So if a business person will come into the picture and not impose ideas, I appreciate what they are doing. They sit back, learn, and then advise. But the relationship of a principal development in any school will make sure that school will move forward. The results will start coming in, because the leader is now a better leader. The leader is now listening more. A leader is now seeing other staff members as thinking partners, not as people who just come and report or just for him to scold and all that. But the approach and the methodology of PFP is just out of this world. It's not your GDE approach, where you are told how to teach CAPS in 2 minutes or so. But that's something that will take forever, and I'm very grateful for being part of this. And I had an amazing journey. Thank you.